Hello. This video is going to talk about the final exam for this quarter. First of all, I think we should all feel good that we made it this far. I know there were certainly times during this quarter when I wasn't sure we were ever going to make it to the end, and perhaps many of you felt the same way, but here we are. Finals week, it's almost over. Alright, in this video, first, I'm going to talk through some important details for closing out this class in the best way possible, and then I'm going to talk through each of the questions on the final exam, just to give you all a little bit more idea of exactly what I'm looking for. Okay, so your grades should be in the grade book for everything except the final paper and the final exam. And I would appreciate if you check your grades to make sure that everything looks right and that I submitted everything that I put in the grades for everything the way that they should be. If there's ever a situation where you have a comment but you don't have a grade, that was an accident. It means that I didn't put in the grade even though I put in the comment. And so if that happens, please reach out to me. Or just in addition, if you have any concerns about your grade or anything like that, please also feel free to reach out to me. One point that I make a number of times in my in-person class is that as long as you turn in the 4 major assignments, which are the midterm exam and the first paper, and the second paper and the final exam, as long as you get those 4 things in, you'll have nothing to worry about with your grade, as long as you also give them each an honest attempt. So please don't worry, just do all of the work and everything will be okay. Now, the final exam is due by Tuesday at midnight. That's the way that I have it set up right now, so that I can have enough time to get everything graded and turned in by the end of the week. However, I know that many of you have very, very busy lives, and I can certainly appreciate that. So if Tuesday at midnight is absolutely not going to work for you to get the final in, please let me know, and I'm happy to give you a little bit of extra time. Although the most extra time I can give you is until Thursday at the latest, because I have to have my grades in by Friday morning, and I also have another job, so it can be kind of complicated, but in any case, if you need a little bit more time, just reach out to me and let me know. Finally, incompletes. If you're in a situation where you're just not going to quite get all of the work done, I would encourage you, rather than taking the F, to reach out to me about getting an incomplete. So as long as you have completed 60% of the work in the class, which would be the daily work, the weekly work assignments that we've done, which everybody has made it through. So that's 30%. And then if you have turned in the midterm and the first paper, as long as you've done those things, then you qualify for an incomplete. So if an incomplete is something that would be helpful for you, please reach out to me. I'm happy to give them to anybody who would like to do that. And sort of how incompletes work is that you and I make a contract, and you get an I on your transcripts, but then if you complete the contract, which is basically just finishing the remaining work in the class, then the I is replaced with a grade. And I'm happy to do the paperwork for these. I just need to know that that's what you want to do. So please reach out to me if an incomplete is what you need. All right. So now I'm going to go through the final exam question by question and talk a little bit about what I'm looking for. All right, this is the first of the 4 questions. This question deals with the section of the class on proofs for the existence of God. So, choose 2 of the 5 arguments that we looked at in the section of the class about proofs for the existence of God. This includes the ontological argument, the cosmological argument, the teleological argument, the argument from Pascal, which was the wager, or the argument from A.J. Ayer. First, present each of these arguments, 1 paragraph for each, then present the strengths and weaknesses of each argument. So one paragraph for each argument. So one paragraph that presents the strengths and the weaknesses. And then finally, give your best argument in favor of the argument that you find superior. So one paragraph. So I imagine the answer to this question being 5 paragraphs long. First, you pick 2 of those 5 arguments, and then you compare them, right? So you spend 1 paragraph talking about the strengths and weaknesses of, let's say, the ontological argument that is Anselm. And then, so you spend 1 paragraph talking about the strengths and the weaknesses of that argument. Then you spend another paragraph talking about the strengths and weaknesses of the other argument we looked at, maybe the cosmological argument. And then 1 final paragraph that is your best argument in favor of the one of these 2 arguments that you find superior. Okay. The second question. This question is on ethics. So for this question, identify a moral dilemma from your life and give a detailed explanation of the details of this dilemma. So it doesn't have to actually be something that you've experienced. It can be just any kind of moral dilemma, but often it's easiest to come up with moral dilemmas that we've experienced. But it doesn't matter to me. I just need you to present a moral dilemma. Then using the model moral principle plus description equals moral judgment, I want you to give a detailed explanation of each of the claims that conflict, okay? Now give your best argument in favor of each side, right? So remember that how moral dilemmas work are there are conflicting sides, and then give your best argument in favor of each side. So 1 paragraph for each side, and then finally explain in detail your solution to this moral dilemma and why this solution is preferable to the alternative. Okay. Now, the next question, this is from the political philosophy section. Thomas Hobbes presented a particular understanding of human nature. In as much detail as you can, explain Hobbes' understanding of human nature and what follows from it. What parts of Hobbes' view do you agree with, and what parts do you disagree with? So this is the closest thing to a trick question that I've included on an exam this quarter. So when I say that from Thomas Hobbes' particular understanding of human nature, a lot of things follow. Of course, what I mean is for you to start off by explaining his particular understanding of human nature, which ends with the idea that life under these conditions is solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short, if we remember. And then I want you to say what follows from that. So remember that one of the things that follows from that is because we desire peace, right? We want to be under the control of somebody else. And then this leads to the contract that leads to the person or group of people taking control over us and creating a commonwealth, right? And then, best of all, you should end with Hobbes' argument for why the monarchy is the best of the forms of government that can rule over us and lead us to more peace. Okay? So I want all of that stuff in the first part of the question. And then I want you to tell me what parts of the view you agree with and what parts you disagree with. All right. And the final question, in as much detail as possible, expand on one thing that you learned in this class. What is the value for your life of this lesson, and how will this change the way that you think about things in the future, if at all? Okay? So my big request with this question is that you answer all 3 parts. I would appreciate that. One of the things that's valuable is to make sure that you answer all of the parts of every question. That even goes for this question at the end. And I hope that this question kind of gives you a nice idea, a nice chance to reflect on what you've learned throughout the class and find a nice way to apply it to your life. Okay, so those are the 4 questions on the final exam. So to end, I just wanted to thank you all for taking my class. I have appreciated having the opportunity to work with each of you over the last 11 weeks. And certainly there were some things that I thought went well from my side and some things that didn't go as well. I'm still very much learning how to teach online courses, and I think I have a little ways to go. So I certainly appreciate your patience with me as I learn through these things. And I can guarantee you that if you're ever to take one of my online classes in the future, it will absolutely be an improvement on this course. Although I think that this course went well, and I hope that you learned a lot from it, certainly. And one additional thing is that if there's ever anything I can do in my capacity as a philosophy instructor in BMCC to help you along the way in your education, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. My email address is on the syllabus. I'm always happy to hear from and help students out if they need it. So if there's something I can do as a philosophy instructor at BMCC to help you out, just feel free to reach out to me and let me know. And to end, I just want to say that I wish you all the best in your future endeavors, whatever they are. And certainly if you run into me in person, it's always very cool when my online students introduce themselves. It's something I really appreciate. So if you ever come across me out in the world and you recognize that it's me, please feel free to come up to me and say that you're in my online class, and that'll be great. So I hope that good luck on the final. And yeah, I hope you have a good summer.